got Reason Gaming going to be taking on Team Who here in a best of 3. We just had players on from each team, interviewed them, got the chance to see how they're feeling. Feeling pretty good. We definitely got a pretty hyped matchup here as a result. With that said, of course, I am, as always, joined by Minnie here. Minnie, we're kicking things off here. Let's go.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely ready, and this draft already is a little bit surprising and interesting to me, Brokey, so I'll let you do your thing, man.
All right, well, speaking of that, so obviously jumping in here, we got Ophelia, Dr. Repulsor, Parasite, and Puppet Master, or the band. So Doctor and Puppet banned out by Team Who, kind of interesting there. You got the Swiftblade first pick, Kraken response, Magnus follow-up, and there's even Torturer now on top of that. So what are you finding interesting here, Minnie?
Well, the reason being is because they don't actually pick up Warbeast, so that was the biggest thing to me. They didn't blind ban Warbeast, which was a little bit surprising because I thought that would be definitely blind ban. I thought Doctor was going to get banned, but it didn't. And then Reason don't even pick it up, which to me is even stranger than Who not even banning it in the first place. Reason have been playing a lot of Warbeast. Probably the team that started getting Warbeast into the scene, honestly, and they've been playing it so much recently, and it's had a lot of great success. So I'm surprised they don't pick it up. Yeah, I mean, they've got Swiftblade and Magnus, great heroes. Don't get me wrong, but then they pick up Valkyrie instead of Warbeast. So I guess a change of strats here, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, perhaps changing it up. We'll see how that things affect him. Now, I got to point this out as Silhouette's the final pick for Team Who. Always a strong carry option if definitely have a player that's comfortable with it. Now, again, you look at the roster over here, there are a couple player names that you probably recognize. Serchest being definitely a bigger one, especially earlier on in the season. He was making some big plays. Now, this team was formerly known as Prime Icarus. In fact, there's a match recap, or not a match recap, but a match preview article on HonTour.com right now. You can go check it out for yourselves if you would like, but it actually breaks it down pretty well of like who these guys are, specifically Team Who. And again, their name kind of fits them appropriately because it kind of throws you off guard. But again, they were known as Prime Icarus and even Donkey Kong earlier on in the season. They actually played Diamond for the last 3 cycles here as well. So this is definitely a team that, do not underestimate. Just because we don't know too much about them or really haven't casted them too much, they do have plenty of top-tier experience. There's a reason, obviously, why they're here in the first place. So just because the reason Gaming's the strong top-tier team that we're all looking at, Don't think that Team Who for a second is just going to give in and give them a victory, because that's not going to happen here. I think it's safe to say, and I'm very intrigued to see what they bring to the table. So, I mean, do you have more insight on these guys by chance yourself?
Yeah, I know. I've played with them and played against a couple of them as well. They're all kind of high TMM kind of players, around like 2K-ish. I think they've always been good, but they never sort of broke through into sort of the top tier. I mean, I know that you said they have been playing around Diamond, but they haven't really made a name for themselves. They haven't really, cut through the more superior teams because, the likes of Reason, the likes of Tree have always overshadowed them. But they've always been good. I think playing with them and playing against them, I think the biggest thing, the reason why they haven't been able to really make the top jump or the next jump in terms of their plays is their leadership and their strategy. They're all great individual skill players, like most higher TMM sort of players are. But it's just that lack of a leader or that lack of sort of a strategist to really sort of form together to make a strong team. But I know they have been playing for a while together, and they've been scrimming quite a lot as well, from what I've heard. So
yeah,
that could definitely sort of almost flourish a leader. So we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
That we will. In fact, the banning stage developing here now. Bubbles, Engineer, and Prisoner so far banned. There we go with the Glacius ban, so it's kind of obvious, what teams are focusing on here. Obviously, Team Who definitely focusing more on the support options. You already got Valkyrie, you already got Magnus. I wonder, are we going to see an Accursed ban come out? Because Valkyrie Accursed has once again proven to be a very, very powerful combo as of late.
I don't see why not, honestly, because Magnus could be played mid, and then Valkyrie or Curse offlane, and then someone could just support Swiftblade down bottom. That being said, though, they are placing against a Silhouette, which I guess Valkyrie Curse Lane could do very well against. It could almost beat it. But maybe they want something stronger to really shut down Silhouette from the start. I mean, I've talked about Silhouette a lot of times before, Breaky. The hero is incredibly strong if you give it a good start. I guess that's with most heroes, but Silhouette in particular as well. And not only that, she is quite easy to lock down in lane. Not the greatest tri-laner, so maybe it's not that reason I'm looking to do, honestly. That's why they haven't picked up the Warbeast, perhaps, honestly. I mentioned why they haven't picked it up, but if you run a Warbeast, like most probably it's going to go in the suicide lane, and if you do that, then obviously you have no aggressive potential in the laning phase in the off lane. But with it being open, they could definitely run an aggressive tri lane against Silhouette, which I think that's what reason they're going to do. That's what I'd put my money on anyway.
Yeah, well.
There's the Andromeda. Makes sense, I guess, with that.
Andromeda definitely pretty powerful hero for that if you're going for it, so. possibility definitely there. Now back over to Team Who. What are they going to respond with now? Their 4th pick coming out.
If I was slash screen right now, I would want to put Silhouette mid because just from that Andromeda pick, you know that tri-lane is most likely to be happening. So you need to give Silhouette the farm. You can have Kraken plus Torture like off lanes almost to try and dodge the tri-lane from Reason, but you have to make sure that Silhouette gets farm. And the best way you get farm on a hero you want to get farm on is put it in mid. Silhouette is not the greatest 1v1 hero. I mean, it's still good, but obviously after the nerf, it isn't the greatest way. But if you put it mid, there's no way that Reason can really tri-lane mid. It just doesn't happen. If you 1v2 it, yeah, it's going to be an issue, but it's a lot better than getting tri-laned in the safe lane. So for me, I'd try and find a hero that can just completely suicide itself in the short lane against Reason's tri-lane. Bubbles was banned out. That would have been my first pick, but that's what I'd be going with here from Who. But I'll have to see what they choose themselves.
Yeah, they're losing some time here. Got to choose pretty quickly. Already down to 6 seconds of counting. Whoa!
Okay, then.
Don't think anyone saw that one coming. And, you know, how much insight do you have on these guys? How much Gladiator history do they have?
I know they've been playing it in scrims quite a lot, honestly, and normally they run it dual mid. It's something that Tree used to do all the time, and I know Tree and Who, they used to scrim against each other a lot, so maybe they learned it off of that. Normally the hero they pair it with is Gladiator plus Glacius, but Glacius is banned out here, because Gladiator does have a lot of early mana issues, and normally that's why sometimes you see like a Blood Chalice, but with Glacius you don't need the Blood Chalice at all. He could probably dual mid with Torture plus Gladiator, and then Kraken would offlane, and then have someone's supporting Silhouette in the short lane. But the only issue is if Reason do go with that tri-lane. But the hero is incredibly strong, and I love the hero. We just don't get to see it, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, hey, this hero obviously has plenty of history in the competitive Han scene, very iconic. You know, you think back to the tri-lane days, of course, Fnatic early on, they were very known for playing this hero right here. Now, you know, as far as moving on, you know, Han Tour in general really hasn't been seen all throughout the Han Tour seasons, to be fair, but, you know, kind of sprinkles in every now and then, and this is another instance of that. When it comes to burst potential, he's up there with the best of them, obviously, with that flagellation of his, the Assassin Shroud, and especially those Rift Shards on top. His damage output can be pretty damn crazy. Now, they go with Deadwood, by the way, as their final pick on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, with that Deadwood pick, I guess you could always view it as like, you know, you have another solo laner on top of, say, the Swiftblade, for example. But Reason always play Deadwood in the suicide lane. If they do that, I don't think that's the best way they could lane it, because then you'd open a lot of space for Silhouette in the short lane. And not only that, then I think you'd play into the Gladiator's hands as well and run it in sort of a dual mid. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. I think that rally is going to be a second support rally as well.
Yeah? Okay.
I guess that could work, because if you almost view Rally in this sense as like a defensive support, because if they do run a defensive tri-lane from Who, and then Reason run like an aggressive tri-lane, you can always keep Silhouette safe with like the Rally as like your get-out clause. Kind of similar to like a Curse kind of thing, or even like a Jerizaiah. Yeah. You just have him sort of sit behind Silhouette. If they go on him, you just compel him out. But that could be the reasoning here. I like the innovation, actually. I like the idea. Absolutely.
You know, Rally as a secondary support, again, it really on paper, it makes sense when you think about it. You know, something like a Magnus, the Behemoth, those kind of melee heroes that, you know, bring that powerful stun as well as a big teamfight presence with their ultimates. You know, Rally definitely has that with his ultimate, with that compel, as you're pointing out. So really, the idea of a secondary support, I don't think it's too far out of the question, just because we don't usually see that. Doesn't mean it's not a good option. So, but yeah, it's safe to say Team Who kind of going outside of the box. And, you know, again, we had Shortcut on before this to kind of get an idea of what they're expecting going into this matchup. And he did hint at, you know, there's definitely some special strategies they have in mind. And yeah. I got to think this may be one of them.
Oh, definitely.
As far as their lineup here.
Quote me if I'm wrong, but I think Shulkin is the farmer, though. So I think this might be second support Gladiator.
I don't know, honestly.
I thought Shulkin was the cool player, but I might be wrong. I think it would make a lot more sense if Rally was second support.
Let's
because
see.
Of that reasoning. But...
It says Shortcut secondary support. The match preview by Blaze does point that out. So
it makes a lot more sense. I just wanted to make sure, but. Yeah, so I guess they can. Gladiator is obviously a strong solo hero in the middle lane, and then Kraken can easily offlane. So maybe that's the reasoning behind it, though. And I do like the reasoning because from Reason's lineup, it does make sense that they would tri lane. And even if they don't, I think Who will be fine just having Rally like pull the lane or even start rotating and roaming perhaps with the Torturer. Makes a lot of sense. But for Reason, though, I guess they could either aggressive tri lane or they could just send Deadwood Suicide Island, which they've been doing a lot recently. One of the only teams that really run Suicide Deadwood, actually, which is kind of interesting. I don't actually know the reasoning behind that, but they seem to like it a lot.
Yeah, that is a good point. You know, Deadwood has really obviously gained a lot of steam in general as a hero, but you know, more the usual, the middle. Deadwood is the TMM thing, just the popular thing for good reason. But yeah, Zane is the one that plays it for a reason game, as you pointed out, and doing that here once again, and we've seen it several times being used in that Suicide Lane even. So I guess it just gives him, you know, in a sense, he does obviously have a pretty big level 6 ultimate that once he gets that in a Suicide, he can kind of assist elsewhere. So maybe there's some logic there, but hey, they do make it work. Now, you look at how they're setting up, actually.
Yeah, it'd be aggressive trying and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deadwood's running bottom already, so and that ward plays from tank effect as well. So he's going to secure that aggressive tri lane. So I guess this is what the idea from who I talked about in the draft, how they kind of want to find a hero that they can just sack in the lane, kind of similar to like a Bubbles. Kraken's going to have to be the sacrificial lane in this case and just sort of get up against the aggressive tri lane. It's okay. Obviously, Bubbles, I said, would be a little bit better because Kraken still does need a bit of farm and a little bit of levels, most likely the portal key. Whereas Bubbles, you know, don't even need that to really be a useful asset. But the way that who have laned it, though, very good idea. Because now at least Silhouette is going to get a little bit of farm. Expect the supports from Reason to rotate, though. And so it might just be, you know, the support's going to be following around Silhouette this whole game to try and lock her down. Whether that's going to be effective or not is another question, really, because obviously the team that lane effectively at the start is always going to have the advantage because it's going to force the other team to rotate, which costs TP gold and time, for example. But we'll have to see what Reason's going to do here.
I know a lot of people are on the same page as me that I'm excited to see how this Gladiator pans out. Definitely a fun hero, potential to be a fun hero. Again, in the right hands, and, you know, with some decent farm. He is in the matchup, though, in the middle lane, and not your usual middle lane matchup. Swiftblade versus Gladiator is what we got here as a result of the lineups and how they decide to lane and whatnot. Now, Andromeda is, of course, rotating earlier on, and it looks like she may end up mid, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, Torture doing the same on the opposition. So it is going to end up being a dual lane mid for both sides here.
I think Andromeda is more looking just to set up a kill, maybe. I don't think she's going to stay here. I don't think so, anyway, because Swiftblade plus Andro dual mid isn't very good, to be fair, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm pretty sure Reason wanted to face up against the Silhouette, so actually a really nice heads-up play from Slashgrin, actually, to sort of lane the way he did, because Reason, obviously, their support's already rotating up. They don't want to keep these lanes the way they are, because they are in favour of who, so...
No, yeah, I like what they're doing here. They knew he was here all along. They're playing it as if they didn't, and now Andromeda's in some trouble. He does have the pitfall. He hasn't used it just yet. He's waiting for the best time. Oh, just gonna miss right there. He waited a very long time to use that pitfall, and I wonder if that really was the better decision in the end. But he went for the all-in. It did not work out, and once done is done. He stays alive. No blood. Let's kill top lane. Kraken is also going to survive right there. But yeah, I mean, again, I liked what they did. This Waterside did spot Andromeda go in here initially, so they knew for a while he was there. They just were not able to capitalize, though.
Yeah, I mean, already, from what I can see, it's like, who are actually looking pretty strong. I thought they were going to have a little bit of trouble in how they've been laning it, but the way they've laned it, I think, is actually the best way, or the best, the best lanes they could have done, honestly. So, I think it's gonna rely on Reason to try and get active, because I don't think Reason want the lanes to say they are. Andro is going to sit mid, though. Which to me is a little bit surprising, though, because like she's having to sort of sit so far back because she doesn't offer anything in a dual mid. She's got low range, and obviously she's only level 1 as well, so the comment stun is only there to be used. But I guess they're going to keep it the way they are, and I think this is definitely in favour of who. Silhouette is getting good farm as well, which was the biggest issue. Deadwood's going to get quite a lot in the bottom lane because obviously he's getting boxed out by a melee, which is the one issue. But I think overall, who will be happy with the way how the lanes are.
Yeah. Also worth noting here, so again, you know, Tank Effect usually playing that jungle and secondary support role on the teams that he's been on in the past. Again, even the captain of the team, he's neither here. In fact, he is a main support playing the Andromeda. We really haven't stressed that a whole lot. But again, that goes back to he's replacing their main support in Cheoli, aka TPS Priceless, and you know, not saying he can't do it, but it is maybe a little bit out of his comfort zone as far as what he used to doing.
Definitely, and I think they just wanted someone to replace TBS Priceless completely, kind of thing. Obviously, it's going to be hard, but it's a lot pretty better than rotating near onto the first support kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Absolutely. You see the bottom lane here, Deadwood and Rally kind of going at it. Rally's just distracting more so as the pull happens. You know, Rally is only level 2, so not a whole lot he can do right here on a major threat, and Deadwood definitely knows that.
Yeah, and this is probably the one thing I mentioned as well. Like having Rally second support, he's good if you're maybe playing him as a defensive support, but when you have to go aggressive, you can't really box anyone out, kind of thing. So he's having a little bit of trouble here, but doing decent, trying to get as many last hits as he can, really. Oh, Silhouette is coming over. They might try and go on him. Yeah, they are.
Are they? Yeah, they're going to collapse right here onto Dead with a Rotten Crossbow lands on the rally. Will it be enough? The Trigger Apple does connect Deadwood, but again, still not enough damage for the kill, and Silhouette has to fall back before she takes too much tower damage. Torture was coming down with an Invis rune, so maybe if they were even just a little more patient right there, could have been something, but they wanted the kill earlier on, unsuccessful. However, they are still thinking about diving this, man. They really want to dive this. I mean, Deadwood is out of mana.
Silhouette needs to use the health potion if they want to dive, though.
Will he pass it off? Here's the question. Oh, he has one on him too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. He's got one on himself. But I guess if they can find Deadwood like not near his tower, I guess he won't need to use it because they can just burst him down. But better safe than sorry. Deadwood has no mana as well, I guess. So I don't think there's probably a chance for a turn kill.
Meanwhile, at the top lane, how's that going up here? You got Valkyrie 24-14, Kraken only 4-0. Obviously, was a pretty aggressive lane up here. In fact, Magnus, not there currently, but he's been up there for the most part. Safe to say that Valkyrie's having a very good start here, though. Imba Boy playing it.
To be expected. The only one person's got quite low farm, though, to me, is this Gladiator's got really low farm middle lane, 228 GPM. He has been, like, 1v1, and when Andro rotated, so did Torturer. So I'm assuming, I have been watching him a little bit, just a couple of CS just missed here and there. I guess it does add up, but there has been a lot of early movement, and whenever there's a lot of early movement, everyone's sort of CS is a lot lower. Like even Imba is only 300. Normally we see him like 350, 360. Like that one time where we saw Pro Boss have like 420 GPM from the lane at like 5 minutes in. That's like perfect CS, obviously, but. Yeah, it's just whenever that same when you go try versus try, your CS is always lower because of just all the rotations and trying to get everything sort of sorted and settled.
It really is interesting seeing several carry players. Baltazar, for example. You got Imba Boy playing it now on Valkyrie, and you've kind of stressed that it just doesn't seem like they're kind of heroes, as if it makes the most sense for them. But we had another case of that here where Imba Boy's now playing it, and we'll see how he performs ultimately on such a hero. But it is, interesting that we're seeing more and more of that, it feels like.
Deadwood might be, yeah, I think Deadwood's dead.
Is actually top lane also. Kraken in a lot of trouble. Double stun come out, 2.6 second arrow. Kraken gets the charge off. Is it actually enough? Yes, it is, but he actually bought enough time for his team to get the Bloodlust kill just prior. That charge bought the time needed to allow Yugo Bick to pick up the Bloodlust onto Zane at the bottom lane. So, even though he died, that actually definitely was very worth it to get that off right there.
Yeah, and so they just trade the sort of suicides in this case. Obviously, they're not offlane, but both of them are going against tri-lanes, so decent kill, decent rotation from both.
Yeah. You do look at the GPM chart. Of course, Valkyrie really excelling with that farm. Gladiator middle lane, he's being caught on spin, comes out. Of course, not going to follow too much here, though. Showdown actually pulls back and drops it with the pitfall. There's that perfect combo coming out, and down falls Tankafet. Again, that's definitely a strength of Gladiator, especially in players that know what they're doing with it. It's not the easiest of times sometimes, but the Pitfall Showdown combo, if you have experience playing it, you should be pretty on top of hitting that, as we saw right there. So
really nice kill there from Suskrin, and he's sort of CS done up a lot as well. Interesting, Silhouette actually goes for the Ghost March this game. No, I thought she was going to go in there, but Magnus is sitting down here bottom as well. She's picked up the Ghost Marches, and in this game I don't think it's probably the best idea, though, because there's a lot of burst that she has to face, and normally when you're going against like a heavy burst team, you want to pick up Steam Boots just for the extra health, but I guess it's more sort of preference than anything else, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely see what you're saying, though. I mean, there's a lot of burst here on this lead-in side, so the Ghost Marchers, sure, it's very, very greedy is what it comes down to. And in fact, we could see it also hurt her a little bit right here in the near future, as you mentioned. Magnus is still nearby. Probably just waiting for a level 6 Deadwood here, if anything, to guarantee a kill. But
I mean, Rally, they still Rally as well, though. I don't think they can kill her because he can just... Oh, I guess if they hit the Rotten Grass, I guess they can kill her because the Compel won't work.
Now, her Luge, she does have her ultimate. She actually got her ultimate at level 6, so that would be able to get out of it as well. But now Rowley, however, he runs into the trap right here. Will this be enough damage, though? Compelled the last second, he gets it off, and he's going to survive, and everyone stays alive as a result of that. So, yeah, you see right there, the Rotten Grass locks him down through it, but it just wore off in time.
I think if Nero actually steam buffed, he might have been able to secure the kill.
True.
Because although he would have got stunned, obviously it still lingers for like a second because he's got it level 2. So I think that would have been a secure kill there. But regardless, gets away.
That he does, and still remain with the 1 hero kill each. So, yeah, I mean, we've had some good action here. In fact, speaking of that, Swift Slash's middle lane, spin on top, Gladiator and Pitfall, but of course that's going to do what a juke with a showdown. Okay, clearly this guy knows what he's doing with Gladiator.
That was
making
big,
plays like that.
That was really
wow.
sick. Even Embrace that, damn.
Yeah, he's like, all right, you deserve respect for that one.
That's such a good play because obviously, like, if he doesn't follow him, then obviously he doesn't get the damage from Blade Frenzy, and Gladiator just runs away. Then obviously if he follows him, then things like that happen. So that was a neat play, man. I like that. That's cool.
Magnus, oh, he's stunned already. He's in a little bit of trouble. Impalement doing plenty of damage. Valkyrie Prism goes off, then I'm pretty sure it was to help save him, which it ultimately does. Now Andromeda, though, he's going to take advantage of the Valkyrie Prism. They go up top, but Rally's here. They had no clue. He could have used that offensively, I feel like, instead of defensively, but wanted to play it safe. And, you know, he is, if Kraken was level 6, maybe, but...
Yeah, also that Valkyrie arrow would have hit, so Kraken would have had like 200 HP kind of thing, so probably would have died. But yeah, this second support rally, man, I actually really like it. I'm digging it. Couple of saves in there. It's kind of like a curse, but with more of a aggressive tone. Yeah. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, the idea.
It's like we see a rally. We always see like a cursed Valkyrie lane. Why don't we see like Valkyrie rally lane? That's what we need.
That's you know, it's kind of interesting because honestly, I'm pretty sure Rally, the idea of the hero when it first came out was this idea that it was supposed to be more of a utility support hero, not necessarily an aggressive game. Now, I'm saying that off the top. You know, I'm not saying that this was their intention with the design team by any means. I mean, it just feels like that was the idea. You know, he was this kind of almost like a paladin in a sense of like, I'm going to command people around me, get them pumped up, and, you know, assist them in fights. But, you know, he's really turned it. Obviously, he became more of a ganker and an aggressive killer himself, but which he definitely has capabilities. But this is definitely a role he can't play now. Kraken in the meantime, no chance right here despite that compel. The 2 minute, 4 heroes up here, jeez. Wanted the kill. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if the compel had a bit higher range for allies, I think that would have been a little bit better to make him. But also the battle experience obviously used to give him the attack damage as well, so that's probably why they used to play him as core, I guess.
Yeah.
But, nonetheless, yeah, if they had higher range there on the compel as well, it would have probably saved Thingy's life. But regardless, so they looks like they're swapping up lanes though. It looks like from what I can see, Silhouette doesn't want to stay bottom, which makes sense. Kind of similar whenever you play an aggressive tri lane, there comes a time around like the 10 or 12 minute mark that you just simply can't stay in the off lane because it's just too damn dangerous. Because levels start hitting up, you know, people start getting more and more farm, for example. So it looks like they're going to probably run Kraken in the off lane from now on.
Oh, they were hoping Deadwood would hang around a little bit longer, but Deadwood just picking up that there was something going on, and he was correct, obviously, as the supporting cast was coming in. In fact, Gladiator just came down here. Now he's just going to TP to the middle lane, it looks like, and pick up farm there. He does have a haste and Torture is nearby. You see Magnus lining up as they may try something. It could backfire, though, if they do, so Magnus has to be pretty careful with this. He is going to be spotted by this Ward of Sight now as well, and they're going to look to collapse on top of him. Andromeda's coming over, but Silhouette is also in the vicinity. A little surprised she wasn't going down here first. She does start coming down here now. Out comes the showdown, the Pitfall. No, but he's stunned away before the Pitfall happened, and here come the Swift Slashes now. Cuts through Torturer, so one target dead already. Rowley going to be the second, and all of a sudden this is backfiring now for Team Hero. They're still going, though, as Kraken joins the party. He is level 6. He puts the charge. They take out Andromeda. The arrow missed, by the way, from Valkyrie, as it kind of went yellow with it. Call to Valkyrie, not going to happen. Decides it's best to hold on to that. Magnus stuns back in onto the 2. The Pitfall, and missed once again. He's not able to land on this sneaky Magnus right here, but down he goes as the Willowmaker connects. Also, Kraken falls. However, got the release of Kraken off, and now Deadwood, he feels that. He ends up going down, and Valkyrie, the compel just missed. If that hit, that's guarantee a dead Valkyrie as well. So with him staying alive, I'm pretty sure Reason Gaming definitely coming out on top, but that could have made it interesting at the end.
Yeah, definitely. I'm surprised Valkyrie actually backed off or sort of cancelled his Call of the Valkyrie on Silhouette. Like, Silhouette had, like, what, 280 HP? That would have done, like, nearly 450 if she was the closest target, which I think she was. So that could have been a secure kill, but it more backs off. But, yeah, still good trade from Reason there. And I think the biggest thing why that engagement went so badly, though, is that they wasted sort of 2 spells onto the Magnus. But the reason why he didn't get ported back with the showdown on those, because when he used Lava Surge, you obviously come in like a state of invulnerability. And just when that happened, obviously, you meant to sort of came back. So a little bit weird interaction then, but, you know, as a result, they missed a couple of spells and didn't get the kill.
Rally, he's going to end up dying up here. You do see that Call of Valkyrie coming out. And by the way, the Thunderclaw just purchased by Imba Boy. So not only enhancing a little bit of damage there, but of course a very effective farming tool. And his tool of choice for enhancing that farm more. 400 plus gold per minute now in favor of Valkyrie. You also see the Veiled Rot Deadwood kicking in as he's looking for an opportunity. So, yeah, it seems like Team Who, they've lost a bit of momentum that they had somewhat earlier on, and it may just get worse right here. A Silhouette, she has no clue. They open on the illusion. That is a fake one. They're not going to use too much in the end to realize that, so that's the good news. But can they catch the real Silhouette's the question. Rally is here. Magnus stuns in. Valkyrie Prism comes out. The Rotten Cast. Rally, he ran far! He ran way too far away right there. I'm not sure why he backed up so much, honestly. And in the end, Silhouette falls.
That's just miscommunication there. I think Certus wanted to go in. Shulkin was like, no, back off. So
yeah.
A little bit. Oh, Gladiator though.
Yeah, Gladiator's in trouble actually. Andromeda assisting for a kill right here with Swiftblade, but no, it's not going to be enough. As the release of Kraken saves it initially, down goes Torture, but they will go Swiftblade, and a big ultimate from Gladiator hits Andromeda, and the Pitfall to get the kill. Double tap coming out for Slask right here, playing the Gladiator. That was a big turnaround, necessary turnaround for Team Who right now, because they're still behind quite a bit even after that.
Yeah. That Gladman is actually on point. He's playing really sick. Some of these pitfalls and all is pretty big. But yeah, I think that just going back to the thing at top though, I think it's a little bit of miscommunication. Silhouette wanted to go in, really wanted to go back, and therefore they just didn't know what was going on. Lack of leadership, perhaps.
Yeah, that's perhaps that's kicking in. Energizer, by the way, even just purchased by Emma Boy. Again, that farm just continues to go up and up here now, 440 gold per minute. Swiftblade also has the Energizer, though. So it's one of those cases, you know, it's like, yeah, sure, there's purpose for it. You know, they're not always going to be together, but at the same time, you do look at that a little bit, and maybe it's a little over the top. You could argue, but...
I think stacking Energizers is always good though, because first of all the item is just so good for agility carries, and both obviously are agility carries. They're not always going to be sort of being able to get the buff as well, and unlike sort of what was the item before we got Biscuit, like it's not like a Biscuit where if you're doing like push and stuff, that's always going to be active kind of thing, so it's always going to stack, whereas Energizer won't always stack. For example, Silhouette hits by 5-second arrow.
Yeah, that's a dead Silhouette as a result. Easy kill coming out. Emma Boy, so you know, made the comment. It's like we're seeing a lot of these hard carry players playing Valkyrie lately, and Emma Boy seems to be pretty comfortable on it.
Yeah,
as we've seen here. So 450 gold per minute. Now he's in a little bit of trouble. Pitfall's going to miss, though. Okay, not the easiest ability to land. In comes the Compel, but Rally not going to go for a seismic slam. In fact, he gets turned right here, and he gets taken out. Ultimate, though, from Gladiator. Does hit Valkyrie. That Valkyrie Prism causing issues, though. No dust or anything like that. Release of Kraken comes out. In the background, Torture will fall. Valkyrie is still alive, man. Another Pitfall attempt, but again it misses. Down goes Valkyrie. She got charged back in, though. And a good flagellation proc coming off right there, but now he's trying to survive, as is Kraken. And I think it's not going to be enough. The Swift Slashes cancel it right there and take him out. So well played for the chase. Embry picks up the double tap when it's all said and done. And again, Racing Gaming still coming out on top, even though they lose Valkyrie right there.
Yeah, it's just because obviously Reason had the numbers advantage there. Silhouette actually TP'd middle and wasn't able to get involved in the fight top. Also, the T1 tower was gone as well. So even if she even had TP, she would have been able to really get up there because there was nowhere to TP to. And I think there's a clear example of maybe Who having a little bit of lack of leadership and sort of costing them. Obviously, Who was like, yeah, let's just go and fight, but realising actually there was only I think 3 or 4 of them, and Reason all TP top, all rotated, and as a result had the numbers advantage and gave them an easily win the team fight as a result.
Yeah. Magnus, he's farming away at the bottom lane now, trying to make up, and I say make up, but honestly, Nier's actually just about got his portal key. In fact, this catapult kill, or the hell cannon, whatever it is, will guarantee it, and not a couple of these other creeps. So that's, I mean, he's only farming 200 gold per minute, but, you know, he only has the 1 death, and he has 8 assists on top of that. So understandable why he's able to pull up so much gold. Again, he only has Striders, though, to be fair, and Mana Battery. It's not like he got a bunch of early, but now he has the portal key. That's what's important, and can now work on building up that mana pool perhaps a little bit here. That he has it, but he's got the priority item, and more good news for Reason Gaming as a result of that. You look at Team Who, again, Gladiator, he's continued to do fairly well. Now, curious about his decision with his item choice. We haven't talked too much about it, but he chose to go the full Sackstone even with his first item. It seems like almost an odd item on a hero that you know, usually we see the Assassin Shroud, the Rift Shards, a very aggressive damage build. He's being more of a, you know, I'm going to constantly be active ganking kind of build. You think that makes sense here?
Oh, Valkyrie.
As they are going in, yeah. Will this work out? No, he's able to leap away just before. And in fact, here comes a response. There's the portal key, the double line stun, the 4.8 second arrow on a Gladiator, nearly 5 seconds. Trying to finish him off at will. Willowmaker finishes off Kraken, and Torture could not do much more. So right there, it did not work out.
Yeah, well, I actually do like the reason why I picked up Saxstone. The first reason is because, like I said before in the draft break, Gladiator does have a lot of mana issues. Sometimes I see people pick up Glad Chalice, sometimes I see teams just draft Glacius instead. And obviously the Grave Locket is just good little sort of a build-up for giving him sort of int regen and things like that. But also he's going against Deadwood, so he needs the armor buff, and actually middle lane Rally might be in trouble.
He is in a lot of trouble. Aurora comes out to spot him more, but he is going to be fine at the end unless a Rotten Grasp. Ooh, that was pretty close. But he does dodge it right there.
But yeah, it's just because he's going against the Deadwood, and obviously you need to stack that armor. It's good not only for him, but his team as well, because you can keep on having it, because the cooldown and the duration is the same length. So always have it on.
That makes sense there. So again, has that, but since that pickup there, it's Saxstone. It's honestly a little deceptively expensive. I've always thought of it for some reason as a pretty cheap item, but
yeah,
it actually is. It's
1938,
nearly 2,000 gold for a Saxstone. So it's not like a just a very simple early game item. It's again 2,000 gold pretty much you're investing into that. Compared to the Grave Locket alone, only like 730 or something like that. So
yeah, I think it's just because he needs obviously the mana from the Grave Locket, but not only that, like he needs to have that armor not only for him but his team, and no one on this team is going to build Platy Greaves, to be honest. The supports are going to get it too late, and obviously the cores won't get it because it's just too far outside of their normal build. So someone's going to have to get a Grave Locket, and in this case it fits kind of nicely with Gladiator. But you're right though, it kind of slows down his item progression to an extent, to be fair.
now. Silhouette, of course, though, that's the storyline here for Team Who right now. Really need him to kick it into gear. Has the Nullstone just about finished, so of course that's where it will start. And is farmed about 300 gold per minute, but you're going up against what's proven to be a very aggressive team in recent gaming here. And they're showing no signs of slowing down. In fact, now a middle tower killed. Imba Boy over 500 gold per minute now with the Firebrand and the Thunderclaw here. Again, pretty squishy, but with that leap ability, the Valkyrie Prism, and putting out so much damage herself, not the biggest deal in the world. It's proven to work out very well, of course, as far as that's concerned. Also, you got a level 12 Deadwood now. Of course, he's had the Portal Key for a while, so that level 2 Willowmaker, 450 physical damage, or 475, excuse me, on top of the strength reduction. A lot of damage potential coming out from him. Then we talked about, again, you can't forget about Swiftblade. Also now has 400 plus go per minute, and looking very strong. Silhouette trying to address him a little bit up here, push him out of the lane, which she does successfully, at least for the time being. As, again, she has her Nullstone now at least. It's just now a matter of will that be enough to work out here for Team Who, or will Reason Gaming keep up the pressure, which it looks like they are at the bottom lane currently. I'm looking to push in this tower. Nice top tower kill, though, at least.
Yeah, I think they each need to just dodge team fights. I don't think they can take them. They're well underfarmed at the moment. 10,000 gold lead behind. Silhouette does have an Nullstone, but she doesn't have Portal Key though, so she's going to be a little bit vulnerable. But Reason actually going to back off though, which is a little bit surprising. They've got Portal Key on Magnus, they've got Portal Key on Deadwood, and they've got like a 10,000 gold lead.
Fake fallback here.
Oh, fake. That would be why.
Yeah, that and Swiftblade's not with them.
Yeah, that's why I didn't realize that. That's pretty well.
A little scary there, but. Oh, this may work still. Gladiator, if he goes up too much, he did right there. Willowmaker comes out, Magnus with the follow-up eruption, then the 5-second arrow. It all came together beautifully for recent gaming, and a quick kill on a Gladiator as a result. So sure, they used a bit, but hey, they got the most farmed hero killed on the other team at that time at least. And they'll continue to now push it, and very likely now kill the tower, as Swiftblade has joined them here. In fact, they're rotating middle over here. A swap into a Swift Slashes could do plenty of damage and a guaranteed kill right here.
Yeah, I don't know if he has the range though.
No.
Range might be a little bit low, only level 1, but maybe. Yeah, Who are just really on the farm at the moment. They can't really take team fights, and I think Silhouette should be sort of split pushing and try and pressure down the tier 2s, either top or bottom. But she's focused on getting her Portal Key as well, which is understandable. But at the same time, they're losing objectives, and they're not trading for anything at the moment, which is a big issue. Because now Reason they're gonna just take over take control of the enemy woods, reduce where Who can farm, and then probably take the final tier 2 and then go to Congo because they've got Abyssal Skull and Swiftblade, and then just go high ground because they've got underneath 15,000 gold advantage. So.
Uh-oh. Silhouette top lane. He needs to be really careful right here. He does not have
He doesn't have illusion.
Yeah,
No,
he's not spawned right now. Yeah, he has the cooldown, but obviously it won't do it much if it's right here. He uses it. Okay, well that's just proof that it's not going to do anything right there. He used it even swapped, and it's like, well, that just delayed the inevitable. Yeah. Yeah, he got a little greedy, honestly. He was up there for a while with no portal key, no illusion up even, and I don't know.
That's the biggest thing, though. Like, if he has an illusion up there, he doesn't die at all.
Yeah.
Wow,
look at Valkyrie trying to get a solo kill. The limp in. Now the stun did hit, and I think that threw them off guard. Shoda's going to pull her back in. The seismic slam on top. Okay, they killed him, boy. That's a start here for coming back for Team Who, and they did it decisively. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, whenever you see Silhouette's split push, like, you just have an illusion back at base or back in the jungle, somewhere safe. And so if that does happen, you just get out completely safe. But that's going to delay his portal key even more now. But at least Reason did lose Immobil, otherwise they'd be charging down top or mid probably with that Silhouette kill. So a brief respite from Who, or for Who.
1,800 gold plus saved up on Gladiator again. Still kind of interested to see how he follows this up now with that addressing the mana issue. I mean, do you think it is going to now be that damage, something like the Assassin Shroud follow-up here?
I think Shroud is so key on him. Like, not only that, but Reason are going to eventually start going high ground, and then Shroud works just so well against pushing out of waves, because obviously he can just show down himself, Assassin Shroud up, clear the creep wave, and then go back without any sort of danger to himself, kind of thing. So
Silhouette, she did spawn her illusion right there. They were preparing to fight, it looked like, but Reason Gaming not giving in and deciding to fall back themselves and continue to farm. Again, they very aware, I'm sure, that they have a very comfortable lead here as far as where they're at. 14,000 plus gold lead, 11,000 plus experience lead, and Swiftblade, by the way, another 2,600 gold saved up. He has the Abyssal Skull, the Firebrand, and that Energizer, of course, so not going to be going the Frostburn route here, it looks like. He obviously would have purchased that by now, so we'll see which ultimate direction he goes. Probably just a straight-up Geometer Span at this point. Torturer War deciding on Conqueror. Good timing, because as he does that, Reason Gaming actually coming on over for the Conqueror kill. Now it's the question of, can they stop this or not?
I don't think so. Not when Magnus has his portal key and Reason are so far ahead, but
can they risk giving it up though? I mean, is it one of those cases where?
Well, I think they can delay. They can count. They've got really good counter push with Gladiator, so
yeah,
I think that might be alright.
That's always fun with Gladiator right there. Using the showdown defensively like that to kind of send it, almost like a Bubbles would do, or like a poor Backo field. Send yourself in as if you're going in and throw them off guard. It works a little better with the Assassin Shroud though. Gives you that speed burst, but unable to use it right there. It's actually Torture gets caught though right off the bat. And he goes down, not the biggest hero to lose, but still it is a hero nonetheless. And that's going to be a second one in rally. He missed his compel completely, and he goes down. Big Gladiator ultimate in the background. Deadwood Manda falling as he gets caught and release the Kraken again, but minimal damage overall so far from Team Who. They're still chasing. They want this kill on Immo Boy. I don't know if they're going to get it, though. In fact, they need to worry about behind them. Swift Slash just comes out, cutting through Kraken. Magma stuns in. Gladiator and Silhouette feeling that. Now, Silhouette swapped out at the last second before the arrow hit. Gladiator still will fall, though. And that will be a Conqueror kill. And here comes the GG spam. No, probably not going to be the case. But the Reason came in feeling pretty good after that one. It looks like Swiftblade just going to reconnect right here. But I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if we do see some GGs coming out in the near future for Team Who at this point.
Yeah, most likely. These reinitiates from near, though, have been just so key. Like, he'll jump it. Like, he doesn't even have to use the eruption. Like, I think it was on cooldown, but even just portal keying and stunning, getting out of the fight, portal keying and stunning, because the team fight lasted around 25 seconds. That's 3 or 4 magma stuns, and just that extra bit of damage and the extra bit of stuns just makes a real big difference, actually. So Nier's just been playing really, really well, actually. And not only that, but Torture just got exploded from the start of the fight. Got hit by an arrow, got hit by a rotten grasp, and just instantly dies. And Who just doesn't have enough real power in these team fights.
Yeah. Look at Magnus's items, by the way. He's going the double major totem here. Obviously, one of those is going to turn into a tablet. I kind of wonder if he just picked the other one up just because he wanted the stats, or maybe it was a misclick. I don't know, but
Time's wisdom, maybe.
Sure. I don't know, but I mean, what else does it make? Actually, let's see. What do you make? It makes Gnome's Wisdom, Energizer. Oh, it does make the Void Talisman. I wonder if that would be a possibility. And Spell Sunder, yeah. The spell sunder going.
Brutus actually loves that item, by the way. But
Yeah. Oh, Silhouette! What were you thinking?
I don't know. It was like really slow as well. Like
Yeah.
Congo died, and then like it waited 2 seconds, and then it happened. Oh, Andrew's probably dead though.
Gladiator, I don't even. Okay, yeah, she is gonna die, but will it come at a cost? Now it looks like it. Magnus does it with the eruption. Here comes Swiftblade follow up. Down goes Kraken. Magnus still taking some good damage from Torture. That's a support Torture again. He can put out some pretty good damage himself with that Torment. Up the combo from Gladiator. Ultimate, I don't know if that hit Valkyrie, to be honest. I think the ultimate might have been out of range. But anyway, she does die. That's what matters. And at least they clean up there. So a little bit of cleanup happening. Of course, Swiftblade with the token. He remains alive. And by the way, he bought a Nullfire blade. Very interesting there.
Yeah, he needs something to get rid of Showdown because Geo's doesn't do it. So.
That and,
I have no idea.
You know,
I have no
Illusion,
idea what
Silhouette.
Geo's-
I mean, I guess there's possibilities.
Yeah, on that obviously as well. I'm surprised Geo doesn't get rid of Showdown though.
Oh, that does it not really? Huh.
It just happened right there. Valkyrie just Geos and then just got sent back. So.
That is interesting, actually. But you think, but Nullfire does?
No fire, I know no fire does. So.
Huh? Yeah, so I don't see why it wouldn't then. I'll be honest.
I have no idea, mate.
Figured it would be
Han
kind of the same
mechanics.
thing, but Han Mechanics, just a typical day in Han Mechanics. 2,500 gold saved up by Gladiator, by the way. So again, still uncertain of what that's going to be. Now he has used a buyback. Kraken as well is used a buyback, so worth noting there. Andromeda did use a buyback on the Legion side, also worth noting. Right now in this game. But again, Reason Gaming still continues with a pretty comfortable lead for the most part, as that Swiftblade especially, and you also got the Valkyrie. Geometer's Bane, Shrunken Head going to be in the works now, it looks like, for her most likely. Silhouette, you know, her GPM still not the best, 330 gold per minute, at least getting something. Has the core that's necessary with the Nullstone and the Portal Key. Now it's just a matter of building up the damage from here at this point, but it's going to be a lot easier said than done, Case. Also, Rally not having a portal key, not even close to one at this point, has definitely hurt them as well. Because that, you know, we compared it to like the Magnus or the Behemoth, and you know, by now you would definitely have wanted the portal key on those heroes. And he's probably pretty much the same story, of course. So, oh, that's not going to help either. Certus gets caught at the top lane, and again, he did not have his illusion out to spawn to or to port to while pushing blindly almost. I mean, he does have some vision here, but yeah, you gotta. I don't know. I feel like you gotta have that up as much as possible.
Yeah, that's twice it's been caught out, honestly, for not having an illusion. And when you've lost this much map control, you almost, whenever you go outside your base, you need to have an illusion to jump to, because Reason are going to be on you. But this is going to be high ground. Silhouette doesn't have a buyback. Who are probably, I mean, I think Gladiator should be back now. He's trying to counter push, but he's down bottom trying to split push. Okay, he's going to come back now, but a little bit too late, honestly, because they're going to lose racks now.
Yeah. Very likely here. Valkyrie Prism, in fact, going to be used just in case. Probably not even necessary, but more so to make it a little bit safer as far as they're going to pursue for even the range tracks kill right here. Pitfall will connect on a Swiftblade. Is that going to start something's a question. Rally goes in, the follow-up. There's a Gladiator ultimate. Magnus counter eruption, though. And down goes Torture. Gladiator dropping a half-life right off the bat. Silhouette is back now, however. Can she make something happen? That's the illusion going to fall right there. Kraken also goes down. And Gladiator uses his final buyback in the process. So Recent Gaming going cutthroat. They're trying to finish it here and now. As Swiftblade pops back up with that token of life, of course. And now we'll go back onto the range track. So everybody alive, and that should do it. GG, well played. Game 1 goes to Recent Gaming over Team Who here in this best of the 3 from the Haunter Season 3 playoffs. So Recent Gaming taking care of business, safe to say, in Game 1. But that was an interesting game, though. Team Who definitely not afraid to go a little bit unorthodox here with their lineup.
And I liked it, honestly. It made a lot of sense, but I think obviously the more underlying issues were there, obviously probably with team leadership and strategy, just not completely there. And I think they got a little bit outplayed in a couple of scenarios as well. But a few though, they did pretty good. I did like their sort of their draft and stuff and the ideas that they brought forward. It was definitely cool to see it. They were doing okay at the start, but after a while, Reason just showed their true strength. And I mean, having Tank Fit as well, I didn't feel that they were any different, honestly, than usual. They still seemed as strong as before.
Yeah. Well, Team Who, we'll see if they have anything else up their sleeves or what they're going to try here in game number 2, but clearly need a little bit more ammunition to take out a strong team in Reason Gaming, you know, pretty much the favorite here in Group B, of course. But you look back at Group A, and we said the same thing about Willowkeeper against Coolio, and before you knew it, Coolio at least forced a third game even. in that best-of-3 series up there. So will that be the same case here, or will Reason Gaming take care of business right here, right now?